right. Men can't.
It could have been better as a porn.
Go fuck yourself, Tuffy!
Sorry, because you're so cute and little.
Finish him.
Oh, fuck. I can't believe you've done this.
Well, look who skipped their meds today. And then it was just like, I should drink less.
That's my life. Woo.
Come home to daddy.
All right, say some stuffs.
Some stuffs.
Some stuff. So you're like, I'm still in that red zone where I can continue reoffending for a small period of time where it's still like the same original offense. It's like double jeopardy. You can't get me twice because you still got me on the last one.
I got all these daddy issues.
Welcome to Daddy Issues.
So how are you?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah?
Pretty good.
You look tired.
I'm not, actually. I'm doing well. I think I'm just high.
I think I'm just high.
No, I'm saying over bus stuff because we got the loan.
Oh,
Did I not tell you that we got the loan?
Tell me
We
this.
got the loan. We got the loan. We are officially shopping for a double-decker right now.
Okay, right now, this is where all of you fucking lazy motherfuckers go to paypal.me/tiptheladies because she needs a bus outfit.
God. Yes, all of your donations, well, my portion of your donations will all be going to, like, stuff for the bus.
Mine are gonna go to...
And a new bike.
And a new what?
And a new mic, damn it.
Oh,
Need
okay.
a new mic.
Well, all my proceeds are gonna go to get me the fuck out of this country. I don't care.
Hell yeah.
I don't care where I go. I really don't care who goes with me. I just want to be fucking gone.
Are you going to go to Canada? They legalized and stuff, you know.
Oh, yes. And also, in the vein of Canada, guess what else is legal? You'll be really excited about this. Polyamory and being married as a polyamorous person is totally legal there.
Wow.
Yeah, our guy from Drunk Podcast told me, he did a follow-up with me the other day and was like, tell Lily that
oh my God,
polyamory is like totally legit and allowed there and like endorsed.
That's awesome.
I know.
Oh, that's so cool. See, just another reason to get my bus to Canada. And they're in a few years, they're opening up some sort of ferry from like France to Canada, so I can drive my bus to Canada.
Oh, really? So you're just gonna you're gonna have that now?
I'm just gonna drive it.
Yeah. So you're just gonna. So does it drive onto like you have a double decker bus? So you're gonna need the second floor.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to be like,
yes, I am. And I'm gonna absolutely trailer park it on that ferry too. I'm gonna set deck chairs out in front of it and a fucking grill, like hang laundry out and shit. You're gonna make myself at fucking home.
You're gonna be one of those. You're gonna be like a legit nomad.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
So how are you going to secure your internet connection? Because I know this bitch can't live without internet. I tried watching it happen.
Right, internet connection. We're going to have to beg, borrow, and steal for that. My other podcast, it's not so bad because the Everyday Nightmares podcast that I'm doing with Laura, I can go to her house to record. Not Daddy Issues. This is Daddy Issues. Legion After Dark. Legion After Dark, I do on my own. So I can record the episodes and just upload them whenever I have internet.
Right.
And with you, I just have to like be somewhere with internet every Monday.
That's
so that we can record.
It's one of those things where, okay, so I've been trying to like go out and about more recently, and I recently had this idea that there's this place at the beach I go to all the time, and I was thinking, wouldn't it be relaxing as fuck to like record here and be like sipping my fucking my beach drink while we're recording?
That's what I'm talking. That's what I want my life to be. I want to be able to like go to bed in my bus, get up, step outside that door, and freaking onto a beach or a roaming mountain landscape.
Dude, I'm
or
so
a fucking,
jealous.
I mean, fuck this shit.
I'm
Fuck this
actually really jealous right now. 'Cause, first of all, you're going to be, yeah, you have the loan. I get that. But like generally, you're going to be rent free once that house paid off.
I'm going to be rent free. I'm not going to have to pay council tax. I'm not going to have to pay electricity bills. I'm not going to have to. I'll probably have to pay for water. But like most of our bills are going to be gone. It's going to be putting gas in the bus. It's a diesel engine, so that's not going to be cheap. And like places to park when we have to pay for places to park, and that's fucking it. And like I was looking at, because here they have seasonal campsites, because there is an entire gypsy community, there's a Irish traveler community, and there's just
I was just gonna say that actually because I've seen that shit on TV.
Yeah, and there's a massive bunch hippie travelers. There's the old school new age travel. Like there is an entire society over here
I'm
of
gonna
people
say,
that just roam around.
Just for the record, I think you should avoid the Irish travelers. They fuck each other up. Like they get worse than rednecks. But
They're fine.
But all the other ones are fine.
Oh, dude, I remember when I lived in Newark.
You lived in
I got a knock
New
on my-
Jersey?
No, Newark, England.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? I was like, how did this never come up?
When we lived in Newark, England, because Irish travelers are fine if you don't fucking bullshit them,
Right.
you know.
But everybody bullshits.
Yeah, well, I had these two knock on my door. There was three of them. Three of the dudes, and they'd been doing some work for a house down the street. And they were like, "Is your husband here?" And I was like, "No," because they have very you want people talk about traditional values. That's like
They talk to the man of the house. They don't talk to the
they talk to the man.
They're very traditional.
And I was like, I was just like, "No, he's at work." And they're like, "Oh, did you need that?" And I was like, "What?" And then he pointed, and there was a ladder in my garden. And I was like, "No, that's not ours. Like, you can take that." I don't know where the fuck that came
I feel
from.
like,
He
please
was
take
like,
it off my hands, actually. It's in the way.
well, they told me that because we had this creepy fucking guy next door, and I swear to God, I think he was a pedophile or something, and he was a hoarder, and he was just fucking creepy. And he had gotten pissy with the travelers and went and stole a bunch of their ladders and a bunch of their like tools and work equipment, but just put them in like the front gardens of different houses on the same
So that no one would know he did it.
Well, yeah, but when they asked me, they said, somebody's stolen these. We've had problems with this guy that owns these two horses in the back and stuff. And I was like, that fucking creepy guy's our neighbor. He lives right next door. And they're like, you take care of your bairn, because I had Alexander was a baby at the time, and I was like answering the door holding this baby, and they were just like, okay, clearly she didn't fucking go steal our ladder,
Right. Her hands are legitimately full.
Yeah. And they went and they drug him out of his house, and they fucking gave him a bunch of shit. It was hilarious. But the next morning, when I was after I'd done the school run, I brought him a cup of tea, and I was like, "I'm glad you guys got your ladders back and stuff like that." And that was it. Never spoke to him again. Never saw him again. But every time, because I don't drive over here. Every time I was walking into town, because I walked everywhere. So every time I was walking into town to go to the stores or anything like that, and travelers would drive past, they'd all honk and wave at me. Like, I wouldn't recognize them, but it was like, they were just like, no, she's cool.
She's in the club. She's a traveler. She's one of us.
It was really cool because I think there's a bit of a solidarity there because of the stereotypes about gypsies, about travelers, about hippies, about people that don't live in houses, pretty much. There's that solidarity there where it's like, yeah, okay, you're not an Irish traveler. Yeah, okay, you're not a gypsy, but you're still, we're still in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
We're still, we're cool. It's us against the townies, kind
Us
of thing.
against the townies. Well,
Ben's had good friends that were Irish travelers before.
So how have you guys had any luck finding any buses, like potential bus mates?
I have found like 6 potential buses.
Wow, that's a lot.
And-
is there like a huge
Yeah,
market for these?
Yeah, because nobody wants them. Because once they're, if you think about it, for a normal person,
Yeah, what are you
lives in
gonna
a house
do-
and
what
stuff
are you
like
gonna
that.
do
Why
with
would you
it?
want to buy one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they
It's
cheap? Like,
big,
what kind
it's
of
huge.
money? Like, is it like?
Dude, right. I'm looking at spending no more than 5,000 pounds on it.
Really?
And I've found 6 that are possible, that all run really well. They're all in good condition. They all look really good.
Wow.
One of them
Maybe I
used
need to be part of that bus life and just like park that fucker on the beach.
Okay, get your bus there and then come here with your bus, because people fucking go crazy for the American yellow school buses over here. They're just like, oh my God, it's like an American one, like in the movies, you know?
Like seeing a taxi in New York City, you're like, oh my God, I've seen this on a movie.
Oh my God.
Dude, I was totally that chick in a
totally.
And when I went to New York and I was in the taxi, I was like a puppy hanging out the window. I was like, like, it's sometimes it really is the little things. It's the thing.
Yeah, it should always be a little thing. But yeah, so one of them we found that is Ben's favorite already has most of the seats stripped out of it, and the whole thing is covered with like graffiti, because it used to be a youth outreach bus to go and like help the at-risk
Inner
youth.
kids. Yep.
Yeah, and I was just like, perfect. That is fucking perfect for me to be
You're
in.
like, it's already decorated for me. It's already savage.
Well, yeah, and the fact that it was like an outreach bus for troubled youth. I was troubled youth. It's
You're
only
no,
fitting.
you're still troubled youth. You're just
Yeah.
an older version
I'm just
of
old.
the troubled youth. Yeah.
Troubled youth ends up as troubled adults, I'm afraid to say. But it seems only fitting that my home is in an outreach bus.
I think so too. Well, I'm really excited for you. I think this is an awesome thing for you guys. Like now all we have to do is get you entered into Canada. Like it's a lottery, and like
I know.
get you in.
But you know, I'll tell you who's not super happy about it. Rosemary's not super happy about it. She's like,
That
she keeps
doesn't
asking
surprise
me. Yeah, she keeps asking me, but will I never see my friends again? And will I not get to see my friends as often? And I'm like, it's a bus. It moves.
Right.
Like,
Right.
Like if you want to see your friends, we can drive it there and be
Right.
like, look.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not stuck. It's not going to be stuck somewhere. We're going different. We can go or we can drive it places.
Well,
you know?
I think a lot of people. She could have been afraid that it was going to be like one of those things where you're living on the bus, but the bus doesn't actually like relocate anywhere. It's just like a stationary situation. But I think she should know you well enough to know like the whole purpose of this bus for you is to get around and like go.
I think she's worried about the opposite. I think she's worried that once I get in the bus,
you're never gonna.
That'll
stop.
be it. We're gonna just be all over the place, and it's
that's
like
a legitimate, healthy fear.
It is. I told her, I said, listen, during the school year, we're gonna be around Lincoln. We're not gonna be like traveling around because you guys have school and stuff,
Right.
And she's like, well, will you be able to drop?
Responsible as usual.
Yeah, and then, but when you're off school, we can just do whatever. And, and if we're going somewhere, because we're coming back to Lincoln, you could always bring, a friend or two with you. Yeah.
The wheels on a bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on a bus go round and round, all through the town.
And that seemed to make her feel a little bit better. But yeah, she asked me if I could drop her off at school in the bus, and I said yes. And she made me promise to park well down the street to drop her off.
So no one knows that the bus is part of the family.
I was like, I said, you're underestimating the fuck out of teenagers. Like, any teenager would think that was cool as shit.
Yep. I think it's cool, and I'm 31. So, there you go.
Oh, yeah. We drew out the floor plans of where everything's going to go and stuff.
This is legit.
I'm so fucking excited.
Dude,
for real.
I can't wait. Because, okay, for those listening, I've seen a fucking recording studio get erected under a stairwell. So, I have high expectations now. At this point, I'm like, that could have a water slide inside of it by the time she's done. Like, anything is fucking possible.
Well, we're not going to have a water slide, but I tell you what we are going to have. Right? On the side of the bus, we're going to have a porch that folds down. Like when we're driving, it's flat against the side, but it'll fold down.
Right.
And there's going to be a bar that goes across.
Nice.
So you can hang a hammock chair there.
Yeah.
But on that line at the top where we fold it up is going to be mounting brackets that we can put a massive ass screen on. So we can get a projector and have movie nights on the side of the bus. Very excited about that.
Dude. This is exciting. So
it is. I'm going to be posting pictures of the whole process.
So you're basically ready to go on tour. So that's great because you're just in time for me to want to go on tour. I'm fucking getting out of here. I don't belong.
Yes.
I've heard from too many, okay. I think one of my most recent, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been a lot more absent lately.
I have noticed.
Yeah.
I thought you were just you had shit going on or something.
I do. And it's mostly in my day-to-day life. I'm going to say it to anybody out there who has anxiety. That shit can snowball whether you like it or not. And for me, it snowballed and then it got compounded and my life just started I don't know, exploding.
Oh God.
Yeah. Because I can't, in a family dynamic, you can't control anyone else. You can guide, you can try. But when I came back from my trip, I was really walking into a mess. And ever since then, I've been trying to ride out the storm kind of thing. And I used to be a lot better at riding out the storm, and now I suck at it. Now I'm so raw, I'm I can't.
You know what? You shouldn't fucking have to, though.
So, interesting that you say that. I agree. And I came across an article because, I've, over the time that Lily and I have been friends, I've disclosed to her a lot of personal things, private things. And being the vault she is, you don't know any of them. But one of the things that I came across yesterday, I'm going to make sure is in our show notes that everybody can read this. Because it legitimately, this article changed, if you're ever questioning certain shit about yourself when it comes to anxiety, I highly recommend you read this article. The name of the article is Scientists Found That Anxiety Disorders Are Linked to Narcissistic Abuse.
I think I saw that article. I haven't read it, but I did see it in my Facebook feed.
So I had my suspicions about this, but in my house, things are really imploding and exploding. And for all of it, I'm pretty much blamed. And I'm told that everything was fine before me, everything would be fine without me. And that I need to be fixed, changed, edited, essentially.
Well, that's healthy.
Right? So I'm going to take a minute to read this because it's not a very long article. It says, people who believe in the good nature of others are highly sensitive or emotionally intelligent are the most common targets for narcissistic abuse. Residing where any kind of emotional or mental abuse takes place is going to affect your health. Not only that, but the way you see yourself and how much worth you believe you have will suffer greatly. When you're constantly told that you're the problem and that your rationale and completely normal ways of responding to their abuse is contributing to the issue, what else could possibly be expected to happen? Your mind begins to sever rationale and fear are intertwined, and the body reacts in several different ways, all displayed through types of anxiety disorders. It's unhealthy to surround yourself with these types of people or stay in a relationship with them, but what if you don't have the option? What if you have to live with them? They're a parent or a relative. For those individuals, some disorders might have developed as a teenager and continue to impact their adult relationships today. If anybody's curious, this is me. This is fucking me. When I was reading this, I felt like it was my manifesto. And it's sad, but before I read this, I was having so many questions in my head of, am I fucking nuts? When you're pointing the finger at me and I feel like I have a legitimate argument and you're still telling me I'm crazy, maybe I am. You know?
No.
No, that's the question that I've had, you know? So then it lists, I mean, just a dozen different anxiety disorders that are related to alienation. I've said to people recently, like, I feel like for me, I can feel abandoned because whenever something stressful happens, someone walked. They didn't ever stay to work it out with me. They walk. And so it goes on to say in this article how kids with even just one emotionally abusive parent can end up with long-term issues that kind of spiral and roll on themselves over time, all the way to, you know, how the why is really, to me, one of the most important parts. It's like when you're a child and you're experiencing that, then you always wonder, like, what's wrong? You can tell that something's wrong, but you don't know what. You're confused.
Yeah.
You're legitimately confused. You don't know what the solution is, and so the problem continues, and you are the child, and you're not supposed to have all the answers. Well, here I am as an adult dealing with such severe panic attacks and such a loss and feeling so isolated in my daily life that I fucking shut down.
Yeah.
Just couldn't even fucking talk. Verbally couldn't even talk, really. And I think for me, now that I'm going through all of this, reading that article, I think that everybody who is going through, you know, anybody who's dealing with anxiety or anybody who's dealing with stress should always feel like there is a second step that you can take. Like, if no one's fucking told you or offered a handout to help you, just because the people that are in your immediate circle think that you are the only problem doesn't mean that you're the only problem. It just means that's what they're saying. And that was a very difficult fucking lesson for me to learn. And I feel like some days I'm still learning it. In fact, sometimes it's taking conversations with you to remind me, like, no, that's fucked up. Because once you're abused, like,
it is fucked up.
Fucked up becomes normal.
Exactly.
So I don't know really why I went into all of that, to be honest with you, other than really to explain my absence and the fact that I've had, in my mind, a ton of questions lately of, like, and this might sound sad, but, like, if I'm a person worthy of being around other people. It got that bad.
Definitely a person worthy of being around other people.
Well, I mean, if you asked anybody in my house, you would think I was the Antichrist.
Yeah, but that's just because they haven't really had someone show them what true evil looks like. You should give me their personal details.
I thought about that. I was like, you know what? If you just wanted to hang out with my wife for a weekend, you'd see how good you have it. Like, seriously?
Right?
You could bring Satan into this house. Like, she knows him. Like, they have each other's they're homies, okay? Like,
we're on WhatsApp all the time.
We're on WhatsApp all the time. I don't know. Seriously, though, after saying all that, I don't even know why I went into all of it. I feel like that's something I can end up cutting. But, like, in all seriousness, I've taken such a huge step away from the world because I felt so pushed fucking down.
You know, I don't think you should cut it. I think you should leave it because there's plenty of people out there that will be listening to our show, that will listen to that, and they are going to be right there with you. They're going to understand, like, you know, wait, maybe I'm not crazy.
No,
maybe
and
this is.
You're not fucking crazy.
Know.
If you have a series of people in your world that are telling you you're crazy, might be worth actually speaking to a therapist to make sure they're right before assuming they are.
Yeah.
Might be worth that call. Or just someone else who knows you. Doesn't have to be a therapist. Fuck. You know, if I just asked around long enough, I'd get answers to questions like that. I talked to my sister about it, and she was like, bitch, I know you. She was like, it's just not true. You know?
Yeah.
But if you hear it enough, it's like you're indoctrinated into the crazy.
Yeah. I mean, like, okay, let's say you are a genuinely crazy person, like full on, you take baths in your bathtub full of your own shit, you know, while jacking off to fishing magazines and shit.
No judgment.
And they're like, yeah, everyone says I'm crazy. And it's like, well, you actually kind of are.
You're like,
you know?
yeah, you did just saw someone's foot off and put it in a blender, but
yeah. So just know that. I mean, when you're in the depths of anxiety, you're like, well, I must be because everyone says it. But everyone has different reasons for saying things to people. And a lot of it has, like 9 times out of 10, when somebody's telling you something about you, it's got nothing to do with you. It's all about them. It's all about them and their perceptions of you.
I'm really glad you said that. That's so fucking true. It really is fucking true. I'll give you an example. So this weekend, I had a disagreement with my family, and it escalated, and it was not something I was happy about. But I'm always the one that they're like, you know, everything was perfect before you, and it's like, okay, but it wasn't, because I am always walking into the shit that isn't perfect with me, and I'm not even around. You know, like fights or whatever. It's like, I know it isn't just me, but I think that the reason I don't tell people this is hurting me or whatever is because I feel like once that information is out there, I've now just showed how vulnerable and hurt I was by you, and now you could walk and not care, and that's exactly what happens here. Whenever when I'm like truly in pain, they leave me and they isolate me, and I have no one.
Okay, here's my advice. The next time they do that, go take a shit in their shoes. And teach them the lesson. Teach them the lesson that if that behavior is unacceptable, and if they continue to do it, you'll continue to shit in their shoes. So either knock it off, get your fucking self together, or you're gonna have shit shoes for the rest of your fucking life. You know, like even when you move out, go back in the day when they're gone and break in and just shit in their shoes.
Oh my god. This is why you don't want my wife in here. Like, the worst fucking thing I've ever done in my life to somebody. Dude, motherfucker pulled me out of a shower for me to even come up with this. Pulled me out of a shower and spit on me. Like, serious fucking shit, right? So how did I handle this? I was like, this was my big badass moment. I was like, I'm gonna leave an upper decker, and then I took this fucking toothbrush and I fucking gave that a swirly for like 5 fucking cycles. I actually purposely pissed in the toilet before, and I was like, it had just had an upper decker. I mean, you know how that goes. So I'm like, let's just clean the toilet all cleaned up, and then I just popped it back in there. Hope he has SARS.
You know what? I have never left an upper decker anywhere before. I have not done that before, and I feel like I'm really missing out.
You know what? It was the only one I've ever justified giving. But if you pull me out of a shower, you're getting an upper decker, and you're lucky you're not dead. I can't hear you. You just died off.
Oh no, that was my fault. Sorry, no, I had accidentally hit the mute button.
You and that mute button, man. You guys are in love.
I've got to keep it close, you know, because I'm not in my office with all my soundproof padding stuff today, so
how's
I want to be able to mute it when I'm not.
You're not in your sweat box because it's still hot out there, right?
Yeah, well, it's starting to cool off, but it's not cooled off enough to be comfortable working in there. Although I did record a episode of Legion After Dark in there yesterday with my friend Vanessa, who came on as a guest. You should see the movie that we reviewed because we next episode you'll see it's the Duke of Burgundy, and it is kind of to me it's about an abusive relationship within a BDSM context, but the interesting thing about it, no male characters.
Oh,
like no men. At all. There's no men in the background. Are there women
playing men?
No, there's no
so
men.
It's all female being female. It's not like a Shakespeare thing with men being female.
No men in the background. Even like because the top is an entomologist and she gives talks and lectures and stuff. And even at the lectures, everyone in the audience are all women. There are no men in the movie at all, and you don't notice it until the movie's over, and then you're like, there were no men in that movie. Not one. Not even in the background. Not even an extra. You know?
Holy shit.
I know.
That's
It's
awesome.
like, wow.
That's like a revolutionary film.
It is really good, and I think it's important, and obviously because you'll hear the episode, which I should be editing tonight and releasing hopefully tomorrow, the next day. But I thought it was really good because again, it's not physically abusive relationship; it's an emotionally right, but it's the sub that is the abuser, not the dominant.
Ooh.
Which is, right? Which is like...
It's just like chilly in here all of a sudden.
You never see that. You never ever see that.
Oh, you
like,
do? You just don't see it recorded.
Like in movies, you never see that. It's always the dominant that's like this big scary
Abusing the
dickhead.
power.
Yeah. No, this is the submissive. This is the best movie I've seen that throws up that question: who really has the power in these dynamics?
I do.
I'm going to warn you right now, though, because me and you are a lot alike when it comes to shit like this. You will never have wanted to smack a submissive as hard as you will the woman in this movie.
I'm gonna have to take a gander. I like the idea of bitch slapping a bitch.
Oh God! The whole movie, I was like, "Girl, you better be glad I can't reach through this computer." Because there are like times when the dominant, you're just sitting there, you just want to give her a hug. You know, you just want to be like, you don't deserve that, girl. You find somebody better. You know.
Okay. So finding someone better is always the hard part, but I've realized that when you're not fucking looking, that's when the easy shit shows up. You know, like but here's the problem, ladies. There's the difference between being ready and being vulnerable, and there's a difference. And if you're vulnerable, you're just somebody else's prey in a bad way. Yeah. So, Welcome to Daddy Issues, fucking bitches. Glad you're here. We showed up. I'm in New York, dude.
I know.
What?
Tell me all about everything, because I know there's been some chaos going on.
Okay, so I want to start with my flight because shout out to United for giving me my first heart attack on a flight in a long time.
Girl, you should know better than to fly with a United.
I know, but they included the bag fee, and I was like, ah. So on I went, and okay, so I've been flying on and off basically my whole life since I was a really young kid. It doesn't ever bother me to fly.
I'm a terrible flyer.
Are you really?
I am a terrible flyer.
It's a good thing you're bussing it then.
Oh, dude, I always get really nauseous and like the very first time I ever went on an airplane was also the very first time I met another British lady, and it was this little old British lady, and I was sat next to her, and I was like, oh God, I was like, I don't want to be that person that throws up on the plane, and I was just so miserable. And the whole flight, she was just like, bless you, darling, you won't. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna make it through this, like total stranger, just like grandmothering me through the flight. It was fantastic. I was like, I needed that. I needed your support.
Swear to Christ, I became you. All right, I've never been scared on a flight, and this is what happened. So, we take off. It's a smaller plane, it's like a jet style plane. I don't know if that's a thing. Whatever.
I mean, yeah.
Had little pretty tipped up wings and shit. So I was like, it's so cute. And it was booked, every fucking seat. And we're climbing, and an hour into the flight, we're still fucking climbing. And the fucking clouds beneath me are so goddamn small. I think my ears are popping like crazy. I know how to equalize and change atmospheres. This shit, even my head's like, no girl, we ain't supposed to get this high out. You took a rocket ship to work.
Shit, man.
Okay, so there was a moment at which I start looking around like, is anybody else fucking noticing how high up we are and carrying? Like, this was the first time where we were at such a direct angle. I mean, I was like this. It was like taking off in a fucking rocket ship for an hour.
God.
For a fucking hour. Now, the flight's only like 2.5 hours, right? So, because it's a direct flight. And I'm like, clear day. Wasn't raining. No turbulence. I'm thinking, okay, boy had a bad fucking night. And he's thinking this is the way he's gonna go out. Like, he's gonna choke out that engine and take a bitch out. And I started looking around. There's this old woman who looks like she's lived like 150 lifetimes. And I'm like, I'm gonna ask her if this is weird for her. So I like turned over and I was like, hi, this is gonna be a weird question, but could you just peek out the window really quick and tell me if this is normal? And she like looks over and she's like, we're quite a bit higher than we should be. And I was like, what the she's like, I used to be a flight attendant. This is really high. And I was like, okay, should not have fucking asked this bitch, because at least the real flight attendant would have lied. She'd be like, oh, it's fine. Hey, you want some coffee?
Yeah.
So instead, my blood pressure, now you can probably see the vein coming out of my neck, and like I'm breathing weird, and her husband, who was passed out, is like, he gets the peaky eye and is like looking over at me at the window seat, and I'm just like bracing myself against the chair. And I was like thinking, okay, don't verbally say what you're thinking, because what I was thinking was, we're gonna choke out this fucking engine, we're gonna go down like a penny. And I was like, there just is no, because let's face it, if anything went wrong at that height, you ain't saving that plane or anybody on it.
No.
Like, as it is at general 30,000 feet or 35,000 feet, which I think is normal, I guess. Altitude, cruising altitude.
That's normal cruising altitude.
Okay, so there's this app, because they all have screens. United, like, draws you in with their fucking artillery, right? So they've got the screen in front of your face so you don't know you're about to die or be tased. And so like I'm watching the screen and it tracks your trip, and it also tells you how high you are. The fucking what do you call it? Distance to the ground? What the hell? Like mileage to the ground? I don't know what you would, feet between us and the floor. Okay? It crapped out. Like it was literally like shifting up numbers and gave up.
Oh my God.
So there was no
That's kind
reading.
of terrifying.
Yes. So at that point I was like, not okay. But we had a great flight. We just climbed for all of it, and I was terrified for half of it.
Jeez. I wonder if the pilot was just hammered.
I mean, I think most of them are. This one time, and this is true, this was like fucking 5-6 years ago or whatever, I had a really bad migraine. I went completely blind, right? Couldn't see shit. And the pilot, there was a pilot that was seated next to me, and motherfucker was drunk as shit. I could smell him. And then he was like, and I didn't know he was a pilot, right? Because I'm blind. So all of a sudden he goes, yeah, I'm just riding jump on this one. He's like, I gotta fly the next one. I was like, what the fuck? I was like,
oh my God.
I was like, don't you think that maybe you should like take a nap before you fly? He's like, oh no, I do this all the time. I was like, okay. He's like, they basically fly themselves. I was like, I've heard that, but then you did have to go to school, flight school and shit. And he's like, yeah, but for these bigger planes, it doesn't matter.
Oh my God.
Spoken like a true alcoholic.
that is like confirmation of my mental image of pilots. I mean, you ever meet somebody in a profession and you're just like, you have absolutely lived up to the stereotype that I have had for all of you
in every possible,
yeah,
in every conceivable way. He was like drunk. He seemed like a womanizer. He was like, why do you seem so relaxed? And you're not very talkative. And I was like, well, I'm blind right now. And he was like, oh. And he took that as like an opening. He was like, so, well, he didn't say so, but he goes, well, before my next flight, I do go to the captain's lounge. And I was like, I don't know what that means, but I'm not going. I was like,
Yeah.
it's like the director's couch. I fucking hear you, but no. But that leads me to the rest of the trip. So, holy shit. I'm like in New York, living a life that is not mine. I don't know why.
What? What do you mean?
Well, like, I thought I was too old to model anymore and, like, do all this shit. And it turns out that not only am I not too old, but it's going really fucking well.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, especially, I mean, a lot of the restrictions that people think exist for modeling, that's mainly runway.
Yeah,
That's
and
mainly runway shit. You know?
I'm still limited when it comes to runway. Like, I can't, I'm
Well,
too
yeah,
short.
you're
and
too
shit.
short. Yeah. Yeah. I
They're
mean,
like,
a lot of people.
you're a teeny model. And I was like, I tried to warn you. I'm little. I'm 5'4", 5'7" in heels, but fierce as fuck. Watch out.
Catastrophe.
Yeah, but I think that a lot of people's assumptions about modeling come from that runway thing, and it's like you know, when I read this whole thing about where people were talking about the ridiculous standards of beauty because of models being 6'4" and weighing 2 pounds.
Yep.
And it's like they're like, oh well, it's because of the industry standards, and I'm like, all right, you know me. I'm a feminazi. I'm the first person that will fucking start talking shit about shit like that. But with runway models, that's not why. That's legitimately not the reason why they pick them like that. They pick them like that because the clothes hang better on their body frame. Period. They are not people. They are coat hangers. They are walking, talking coat hangers, and they're not even talking when they're behind before they come out onto that runway. They're not back there like saying, "Oh, well, no, I think you should do this." Any fashion designer will be like, "Shut the fuck up, or you're gone."
I actually said exactly. I'm so glad you said all that because I don't want people who listen to think like I'm the next Gisele Bündchen. I'm not. I am a tiny little person. I am a mom, so like if for all the mothers that are listening, who I had a girl contact me yesterday and she was like, how did you get your body back after you had your son? Like, I'm really getting down on myself. And I felt like that was the most relatable feeling ever. After you have a child, you feel like not yourself, you don't feel sexy, you don't want to really, you just don't feel it. You're not feeling anything and you're feeling tired. And you're not feeling anything else. And even if the person you're with or not with or seeing or not seeing is like into the body that you still have, you're not. And I think that's an important point to make. So I said to her, I was like, honestly, and this is the truth, there is no fucking secret. You work out and you eat differently. That's it. There is no fucking other secret. There are people who starve themselves and there are people who get, gastric bypass as like a more extreme method of handling it. But in all seriousness, for most people, that's the key.
But the thing is, like, that sounds like such a big ask, but it is easier to do that after you have a baby than it is at any other time. And I'll tell you why. All right, first of all, breastfeeding. Breastfeeding on its own, no exercise, no extra shit, just breastfeeding burns 500 calories a day. 500.
Minimum. That's a minimum.
Yeah, so really, if you're breastfeeding, go for a walk for like an hour a day and you will drop the baby weight.
And also, my
you will do it.
OBGYN said that it starts contracting your stomach to shrink it down. So continue breastfeeding. I could not. I did it for 3 months. My son was outpacing me by a long way, and I had all of that guilt that you have when you want to breastfeed, but your kid is like, basically he was too thin. I mean, he never made back what he lost in the hospital. And that's completely atypical, and I literally had him on me constantly. So for me, it was a 3-month thing, and then we supplemented, and then we completely transitioned over because he was just growing like a weed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and you know...
And there shouldn't be guilt for that.
No, there shouldn't. Okay, I mother of 3, right? Mm-hmm. My oldest son was bottle fed. I didn't breastfeed at all because I was 15.
Bet he's a healthy
whenever
kid,
I got
too.
pregnant with him. Oh, yeah. But he was bottle fed because I was 15 years old and I had no fucking idea what I was doing.
Right.
I'd never even been around babies.
Right.
My second daughter, I had when I was Rosemary. I had her when I was 26 years old, and I breastfed her for 2 years.
Mm-hmm. That's tough, by the way. That's a lot to take on.
Oh, but it's so easy after the first few months, because obviously when they are eating solid food as well, they're not as hungry, so they're
That's
not.
true. Yeah, I didn't think of that.
She was eating food too, but she was also breastfeeding until she was 2 years old, just about. Might have been a little under 2, but just about.
So does she?
Alex,
Do they really actually like? Because my kid didn't even have teeth, but it felt like he did. He was like chewing on my nipple. What the fuck?
Oh, they do. They do. And you do the sensible thing that every mother does. You go and just wait it out.
Yeah, that's what I did. And then tried to not bleed.
Yeah, or ow, why are you biting me? But the thing is though, when they do that, first of all, they don't mean to. They're not clearly not doing it maliciously. No, there's this weird. I won't get off on that tangent right now because I could go on for ages about that. But yeah, and my third daughter, I breastfed her for 6 months, but she had the same problem. She has her dad's appetite.
Mm-hmm.
I am inexperienced with breastfeeding at this point, and it wasn't enough for her. She was waking me up. Like, I produced as much. I think I'd make a great wet nurse. I can like, my boobs are just like, whoa.
She's like, titties are done.
Feed the world. Yeah, feed the world.
You could sell that.
I've thought about it, but I don't know if I thought about it because I bet I could like stimulate my boobs enough to where they'd start producing again.
I bet you could.
Yeah.
It's a series of hormones. You don't even have to be pregnant. I learned that recently. I learned that.
Cool.
Yeah, I had no idea that you don't. Okay, and now this isn't every case, but in people like you who are really high producers, it's more typical. For someone like me, it's like as soon as I take birth control, my boobs are like. Like they were still. 2 years later, I was still like leaking, but yeah, I took birth control and was like, whoop. Gone. And they got tighter. I was like, whoa, breast lift?
See, for me, what makes mine tighter and firmer and stuff like that, honestly, drinking lots of water. If I don't, because you've known me long enough now. I always have a bottle of water in my hand.
Yep.
And if I don't, that's when they start getting a bit like dried out and like saggy. But anyway, the point I was trying to make is like, obviously with Alexandra, at 4 months old, we started supplementing with baby cereal and baby rice and things like that, as well as breastfeeding because it wasn't enough. And I'm a high producer. So don't ever feel guilty for either not being able to breastfeed or not being able to breastfeed for as long as you would like to, because motherhood is not defined by that.
Yeah. Shameless titties. Shameless titties.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of that attitude is... a lot of that guilt is from you see in new moms that that's their first kid and they've got this real idealized vision of
looking out how motherhood is. Yeah,
and they're so hard on themselves. And it's like, honestly, kids are the most resilient little fucking monsters on the planet. Like kids, I mean, children, think about it, right? Children could sit there and eat a handful of fucking dirty cat litter and for some reason be totally fine. If we tried to do that, we'd be in a hospital. We'd have some like crazy staph infection or something. Not them. They're just like, oh, what? It tasted good. And you're like, what the fuck? Don't eat that, So,
yeah, and, you kind of get to a point where I guess this happens with your second, but it's kind of happening with mine now. It's like, I'm like, oh, that won't kill him. So just let him do it.
Yeah.
If you won't die and you're not harming yourself, like, explore.
And I think especially when you see in Western countries, this is definitely a Western country problem. They like, right. They wrap their babies in fucking bubble wrap, not literally. But
some people are stupid.
Cotton wool. They like hover over every little cough, every little sneeze, every little blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, look out for him. And then the kid gets old enough to start school. And then they're like, why aren't they outside more? Why aren't they exploring more? Why aren't they getting dirty more? And it's like, because they've never been allowed to before that.
And I have... go on. Go on.
It's okay. It is okay. It's not going to kill them to get a bit dirty, to get a bit, if your baby takes his nappy off and starts running around the house with his bare butt out,
He'll love it.
it's fine.
Freedom.
It really is fine.
Freedom. Freedom for the boobs and butts. Free. Everybody. Free them up.
Yes.
Dude, so I have two thoughts on this. My first is, I lived a really restrictive life, so I'm going to kind of go into shady history. So I was raised Catholic, and in the Catholic religion, obviously, from that I took guilt for every fucking thing that existed. Everything I am, do, will be, all wrong. I'm going to hell, guys. But here, in spite of all that, it's like, I still feel like I'm a good person. And I'm not doing anything shady with kids in the fucking confessional. So you say you're a man of God. I say I'm a woman of the people. Call it what you will, but I ain't going home in cops, fuckers.
Dude.
But here, now I'll say this. What up, the Vatican? I'm really going swords on this one because I was raised Catholic, and a cardinal that was supposed to do my confirmation was one of the many that didn't make it that year because he was an offender. And, why are y'all doing this? At the Vatican, it's like a shell game. Let's just move him around. No, fucking send him in cuffs and call the goddamn police. That's what Jesus would do.
Jesus would do a hell of a lot worse. Jesus beat that ass with a whip just for gambling.
It sounds kind of hot, though. They might like it.
He beat the shit out of people for selling stuff in the church. Like they had their little stalls set up. They had their little wares that they were selling, and he was just like, "This ain't the place for that." And he whooped that ass. So imagine what he fucking
do. Daddy Issuez brings you the Bible. Things you never fucking thought you'd hear. But really, in all, okay. So now that leads me to kind of an overcast. So we're living in a very different world right now, and I feel like kids are really sheltered. I was really sheltered, okay? As a result, that everybody in Catholic college was like fucking whores, and like they were knocking each other up and shit. Now, I was not like that because I'm not as fun, but I came around. I got fun later. But in the meantime, there was like a whole shift in culture. I feel like it started with social media and it's kind of moved on through the media in general, where we're feeling like a real pull, a real difference. And like here I am, I'm going to mention specifically kids growing up in New York, because I feel like there's a very big difference from other places I've lived or stayed. Parents fucking let their 8-year-old take the subway, guys. And it's not that they're negligent in any way. They know their children have good heads on their shoulders. They know that their children can handle their shit. They know that their kids aren't going to respond to certain language or behaviors, and they know how to get help. And we already live in a scary world. Prep them early.
That's my style of parenting, right?
Yeah.
My mother was, you're not allowed to go to the mall or you're going to get sold into slavery.
That's my mom.
Kind of thing.
She even said, like, the couple of people I had to meet for work, she's like, well, I need you to give me copies of their IDs. I was like, no, Mom, that doesn't work this way. I'm working with these people. You don't ask for their fucking identification. And she was like, well, what if they sell you into the sex trade? I'm like, well, I worked in the human trafficking trade to an extent, not like as a seller, but to try and help people that were needing rehabilitation from that life. And so I know the signs, and there are fucking signs. You
can tell if a model shoot's legit or not.
Yes.
It is not hard to tell the difference between a legit shoot and a completely not legit shoot.
Obviously, I still know stuff despite my blonde hair because I'm alive.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
But independence is important.
It is very important. I remember reading an anthropological study, right? Mm-hmm. On this anthropologist went and stayed with this tribe for a long period of time, studying the tribe, as they do. That's their job. And they get up early, and they go out. She goes out with the men to hunt. And while, they all trek out into the middle of the fucking jungle, and while they were out stalking the animal that they were stalking, the children, who were in age range between 3 and 8, set up camp built a fire.
Yep.
Prepared the vegetables.
Yep.
I mean, children, people.
They're
I think
so
a lot
much
of
more
people
capable than we give them credit for. Hi.
Hi. So tell me the news.
Okay. I gotta read. So it started with a text. I'm so excited. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm girling out on you so hard right now.
No, it's good.
It's been so long since I felt good like this, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. So he sent me some preliminary shots and he was like, this is first out of the camera, so he sent me some stills. And then he was like, and this is an untouched photo. I didn't do anything to the photo whatsoever. He's like, I changed some of the exposure. He was like, not a single touch to you. He was like, Fendi is lucky to have you. You're very talented. Your experience shows. You're very professional. You're dressed impeccably and always know how the clothes need to fall. You're exactly what they look for in a photographer's dream. I'll be singing your praises.
This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire.
Ah, nice.
I'll show you the photo. Hold on. I don't know if you can see it with the light.
I can see it, but I can't see it as well. It looks good.
I'll privately send it to you. And here's the still that he sent me initially.
I love that.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
So that's
is
the thing. And then he was like, so the reason I'm excited is that means money. Because anytime a photographer's happy, I've gotten a bonus. So I'm just gonna. Oh, you're muted again.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I caught it early this time. I caught you on the downslide, bish. Okay, so we were talking about something really important, which like free range parenting and how independence is like so important to instill in your children and not to be afraid of it and not to let them be afraid of it.
While you were gone, I talked to Rosemary, and she agreed to let you interview her.
I would love that. Hi, Rosemary. Shout out to the sweet girl.
So you can ask her, like, you know, you can ask her about this. You know, are you glad that your mom let you be independent? Do you wish she had more rules or was more strict or whatever you want to ask her?
I'm going to actually interview her like I do on my other show. Like, I'm going to ask her legit questions because I'm going to have, because I really have never had that life. I didn't grow up that way. My parents always, and I never lied either. I didn't rebel in the way, like, wherever I said that I was. You know, I wasn't over saying I was at a friend's house and, like, over with a dude. I really wasn't doing that. I was a virgin for a long-ass time, actually. Surprisingly. Made up for lost time. No, that sounds like whorish. Well, let me ask you this. So, you have now a teenager. Do you feel like your level of openness has gotten her to a point where... Because... From my understanding, she's not straight. Is that okay to say?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, she's open.
Okay. I didn't know if she was out. I would have happily removed it. But
oh yeah.
I knew she was to
out.
you.
She's out. Yeah. No, she is out and proud.
Okay. Well, so do you feel like you kind of allowed her to have that confidence where she could not only come to you and say, "This is who I am. This is what I want or feel." And that she knew that she not only could come to you about that, but she felt empowered to the extent where you say now, like, she's out and proud.
Yeah. Well, it was actually really interesting because she's been raised around, you know, members of obviously I'm a member of the LGBT community. Mm-hmm. Me too. Clearly I have friends that are members of the LGBT community. So she's seeing gay men, seeing gay women, seeing drag queens and transgender people and stuff like that. She grew up around all of these different types of people. So when she was sort of delving into discovering her own sexuality, I don't think what I found interesting is, first of all, it didn't happen earlier than other kids. Like she wasn't.
It did or did not?
It did not. It did not.
So on time.
So she still had a lot of those questions. She still was questioning herself a lot. And she still came out to us when she was ready to come out to us and had that feeling of just relief, and like her confidence obviously shot completely up because she could be herself. And even though she knew that we were absolutely fine with it, you know, she still had that moment where she had to come out to us and felt like she needed to come out to us, and it still felt that pressure, even though she knew for a fact that her family were cool with it.
Yeah.
So for a kid that's LGBT that doesn't know that their parents are okay with it and doesn't know how they're going to react.
Or harder if they know they're not.
Yeah, I can't imagine how that must feel to them.
Can I tell you? Because I have that story.
See, I would love it. Yeah, because with my mom, like I had systematically worn her down over the years, and by the time I came out, it was just like, this isn't the worst thing you've heard of me doing. You know?
In your case, it's true too. You've been like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not great if you know your family is 100% against it, and my family was. And I'm bisexual. I'm not like a lesbian. I'm not a gold star, guys. Sorry to disappoint. For me, I legitimately fall in love with either sex. I can.
Yeah.
It has. I fall in love with the person and what's inside of them. I have fallen in love with a guy that was like not what people typically would have thought I would have dated, and a girl that was like super tall. You know, like so.
Yeah.
I it's not. Physical appearance matters. I'm not gonna lie. I have to be attracted to them. But for me, it's always mental. So now, when I was ready to have that conversation, I think I was ready to have that conversation about 700 times before I had it. Like, I got so close and then just didn't have it so many times.
Yeah.
I couldn't go through with it. I kept freaking out because I knew it wasn't going to be well received. And I knew not to tell my dad because, like, that wasn't going to go well. And so I told my mom, kind of like, that's how I went. We were on the phone because, like, at the time we lived in separate places, so it wasn't realistic to tell her when I was there because I left young. And so I was on the phone and she was like, so what are you doing tonight? And I was like, oh, I'm taking this girl out. And she's like, oh, a friend from work? And I was like, no, she's my girlfriend. That's how I came out. I said it like that. And she was like, I was like she stays at my house at night and I have feelings for her. And she was like, oh, you're confused.
Oh, God.
You're confused. She was like, you're really lonely. And I'm like, actually, the first person I ever dated, unbeknownst to you, was actually female. And I was like, and the reason you don't know about her is because of this conversation almost a decade later.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not insecure about who I'm interested in. I said, that's a life I used to live. I said, when I was at home, I knew that if you ever knew I was seeing a girl in a romantic way, it wouldn't be okay. And she was like, well, that's just your cross to bear. You can have those feelings and those proclivities, but not act on them.
Proclivity. You know what? When I swear to God, when somebody's mom says that, I'm just like,
to her.
I'm just like, you're bi. You're bi. You're fucking bi. Anybody that says it's okay to have those feelings, just don't act on them. It's like, you're saying that because you have those feelings.
I would never guess that from this little tiny Irish woman ever. But I'll hear you on that because I don't have anything to compare it with. So I'll hear you on that. But my mom is like the uber Catholic. Like, she really is. And I am the black sheep. I don't go to church. My kid, is not following what I followed. And I'm not following it either, so that's going over real well. Living at home is great.
Catholics are fucking.
They're eccentric to the max. Like, there's not everything that is in the Catholic religion.
They're almost their own race. You know,
they really are. They have their own fucking currency. Like, they have their own shit, guys. They have their own police force. The Vatican is its own goddamn country.
It is, yeah, like legitimately.
Yeah, it's its own country. Like, so I said that to somebody. They were like, "No, it's not." I was like, "Look
yes,
it up,
fucking is.
idiot.
Yeah,
Look
Google
it
that shit
up." But yeah, no, I think. And then she said to me later on, she was like, "Well, that's just a phase, right?" And I was like, "No,
No.
it's never going to be a phase." And it's not like I do have a child, so obviously I did continue seeing men, but I only see one person at a time. It's for my emotional welfare and their safety. Like,
Well, it's good there are people like bisexual people. Do you identify as bisexual or pansexual?
bisexual.
Bisexual,
Yeah.
right? So it's good that bisexuals like you exist, though, monogamous bisexuals, because it kind of throws in the face what everybody thinks. Oh, well,
Yeah,
if I get
actually-
with somebody that's bisexual, then they're going to cheat on me with the other gender. And it's like, no.
It's a very unfair stigma, and I'm so glad you brought that up because that's something I wouldn't have even thought to bring up, but it's very true. It's you're bisexual, so you're promiscuous, or you're bisexual, so you'll have a threesome from guys. That's what I get.
Oh, fuck off with that shit. Every guy I've ever dated, except for Ben. Ben is the only guy that I dated that was just like when we were monogamous, because we were monogamous for years.
Right. You told me that.
And like when we were not monogamous, he was just like, because every guy, and I'm not exaggerating, every guy I've dated been like, well, I'm not fussed about you dating women or you sleeping with women or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And Ben is the only one that was like, no, that still counts as cheating.
Right.
Just because it's a woman doesn't mean that it's not someone else you're having sex with.
Right.
You know? And I'd never heard a guy say that before Ben,
And
ever.
well, he's possessive. He didn't want to share.
Yeah.
That's why we like Ben. I love
Yeah.
that Ben is so good for you. And okay, so but I'm kind of jumping around, so I want to stay on topic a little bit because I'm really
Yes.
bad about that. I think when it comes to coming out to a family, if anybody is listening and thinking about it, and you know it's not going to be well received, like my mom and I didn't talk for years. Not about this. It was a lot about a lot of other shit. I was like, done.
Yeah.
And with good reason, and sometimes it still heads in that direction, as you know. But the reality is that I think living such a restrictive lifestyle, both religiously and at home, it wasn't just that I had to go to church every week, and it wasn't just that I was expected to be a good girl. It was that everything that was not taught to me was wrong. And that was not that's not a fair way to live.
No.
You can't tell someone, as a child is just as smart as an adult. The brain is still the same. It's just underdeveloped. So
Yeah.
it's like, you can't tell a child, do as I say, not as I do, fuckers. That's really hypocritical. And you're teaching your kids to
Absolutely.
be assholes because then they grow up and I'm dating them and they're fucking giving me two faces of the coin.
Yeah.
I don't know what to believe because they aren't confident in who they are. I've got all these like fuckboys. Not right now, but like in general, when you date, you run into all these people who don't have their shit together, don't know how to communicate, lie because they just feel that is the only way to get through in life. And I think that starts at home.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that starts
absolutely.
at home. I told my son, he's tiny, but I've told him, I was like, no matter what you have to say to mommy, I will still love you, and you just have to be honest. I'm telling him that now. I don't care if he tells me he's gay. I don't care if he were to come to me and be like, I killed somebody, I'd be like, well, we gotta get you a lawyer and figure out what the hell happened. Shit's gone awry, son, and I'm not happy. But,
Yeah.
But I wouldn't betray my child's trust. And I think that you can do that by not giving them your trust, by not saying, hey, go to the mall. Go, like I was saying, these people with their kids, they're 8-year-olds, 7-year-olds running around. I'm not kidding. They're alone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a very American thing, keeping your kids in like that. Like in other countries, for example, if you look at Japan, kids, they'll be like 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, and they'll go to school on their own. They'll come home on their own. They're alone. Like they stay alone at home and stuff like that.
And I don't know if this is true, but I've heard that in Singapore, it's very commonplace for children to have very little interaction with their parents during the day.
Yes.
Whatsoever.
Yes.
Not just because of school, but like during the weekends, they actually have their own plans and their own social lives at a very young age.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, they do, because
as that materializes, they become very self-sufficient. They move out younger. They don't end up moving back with mom and dad. Like, I think that by allowing your children to grow young, and not too fast, but, supporting their growth. And every kid has a different growth pattern. Like, my son, I think, is ahead of the curve when it comes to, I don't feel like I'm ready for all the shit that he's ready for. But I'm still riding the wave and following his lead.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how it should be, because, okay, realistically, if you look at statistics, statistically, kidnapped children, abused children, murdered children, that shit's not done by a stranger. That shit is done by a family member or a friend of a family member.
Yep.
9 times out of 10.
Yeah, someone they trust. It is. It was in my case. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so odds are that unless your kid is hitchhiking at 2 a.m. or something, they are going to be okay.
Because you teach them like that savvy behavior, what to be standoffish about.
Absolutely.
You don't act like the fucking devil doesn't exist, which I think is a problem I'm seeing in some people. Like, they hover around their kids, they let them like run around the zoo, but they don't let them live.
Yeah. Exactly.
If my son wants to run towards the fucking street, I'm gonna be like, hey, slow the fuck down. But I'm not. Yeah. Eventually, we're gonna get to a point where it's like, okay, the car is coming. You see it? I would never let him come into harm's way, but exposure is important.
Yeah. Yeah, you teach them to cross the street.
Right.
You teach them to look both ways. And it's like Rosemary, right? Obviously, she's 14 now, and me being the type of parent I am, she's out. She's out at all hours. She's out with her friends and stuff like that. And she always comes home at a decent time. She has never been out at like 2 a.m. or anything like that. And when she leaves, she has a selection of things to take with her, depending on where she's going.
Right.
She has a self-defense spray that not only stings people's eyes, but it dyes their skin orange. So they can't be like, no one me. Yeah. Right. They're marked. And the CCTV cameras that are all over the place pick them up.
Everywhere.
I've
seen videos of videos.
Or a knife. But mainly, I make her take Nugget with her. I make her take my big ass.
Is a huge deterrent.
Big dog, big German Shepherd cross Bull Mastiff cross Whippet that is so fucking protective of our family that nobody is going to fuck around with her. Nobody. Or they will get mauled. Straight, just.
Well, and
would destroy a person.
I have a service dog in training, and I don't really talk about this, but it's been a real struggle to live a full life without having a service dog. And I need him back because, like, shit's gone awry since I haven't had one. But I'll tell you this. You always deter that protective instinct, like that aggressive tendency.
Yeah.
However, I never have, and I've never had a service dog that aggress. I deter aggressive behavior towards people that I'm interacting with or passing, I don't let them engage. I don't let the dog engage with the person or whatever. His job is to be on me. But if all of a sudden I see hackles up, that dog has sensed something I didn't. And I'll give you an example. So a few months ago, I have the nicest fucking dog. I feel like he'd jump on anybody's car, like anybody's car. And he loves everybody. And I was walking him at night. I'm in a secure development. We have security. Like, it's not a scary place to walk at night. And pretty much everybody that's within the community they live in it. Well, I didn't notice, but there was someone walking a bit behind me. And they were in the dark. They were kind of in the shadows. And the dog started doing a behavior I taught him when he was a puppy, which is rounding, where they go behind you and they basically cross behind your back, walk backwards, and protect your back. It's like checking your 6. And it's a Schutzen technique. And I teach it to all my dogs because I don't have peripheral vision. So I want them to pick up on something. And he did. Because I didn't hear it. I'm deaf in my left ear. I've got all these problems. And so the dog he's not growling, but he's clearly dividing us. And then the guy tries, like, moving a little closer. Not necessarily to engage with me, but, like, kind of to test it a little. And my dog went immediately to the side and, like, pushed his, shoulders out and, widened his stance, like, you're not coming closer. And he's the least aggressive dog ever, but I didn't deter that. It's like, I want you to know that this is a big dog and he doesn't want you here and I don't either. I don't know you. So I'm really missing that here in New York because sometimes shit gets shady. But I think, again, some of that anxiety comes from I didn't really feel like I could be free.
Yeah.
And, you know, I like to be possessed now, so there's that. But at the same time, I don't want to be the person, I don't want to be kept in a box again.
Hell no.
I've come a very long way, and I think that it's inspired me to allow my child to be more, to experience more, to, even though it's killing me inside to be in all these foreign places and be, like, nervous as shit all the time, I go anyway with him because I know it's the right thing. And I don't let him see that I'm nervous.
Oh, no, yeah, no. No.
Shout out to all the moms that hide their guilt, their shame, their fear, because it is hard.
We all do it.
All of you.
We all do it.
In fact, Miss Bongwater is my fucking, like, phone-a-hoe. Like, I cannot, without my wife, I would die. There are times where I need that womanly advice.
Yeah.
From someone who's been there.
Absolutely. And my advice is terrible, so I know that whenever you come to me, it's serious.
Yes, exactly. You know, I always go to the worst advice. That's the safest.
I think that's what I love so much about our friendship, though, because you're just like, you'll call and you'll be in tears and be like, this is happening and this is happening and this is happening. And I'll be like, it sounds like you need to set that bitch on fire. And you'll just crack up.
And I'll be like, that's my wife. That's her wife. Truly, I always give a nod to her because she is my sanity. In the middle of a storm, I can call her up at 3 a.m. 3 a.m. my time, which is God only knows a fucking 8 o'clock your time.
I was going to say, that's probably like, I probably have gotten up by then.
But
like doing yoga and shit in the living room.
But yeah, like, she's truly there for me. And for all the podcasters out there that have co-hosts, you don't have this one. You don't have this one. I fucking stole her out of the galaxy in a way that you can't even describe. And so I've been talking you up recently at work.
Aww.
I did. So everybody who I've worked with is now a fan of the show. They played it when I was shooting one day. I was like, oh my God.
No way.
Yes, they did. Okay, and they have two favorites. They love the Canada episode and they like the Sam episode. That's how I knew the Delaware thing.
Did any of them comment on the existence or lack thereof of Delaware?
Thank you for asking, because yes! Oh, that was the perfect segue. I love you. God damn it, you were perfect. This is why you're my soulmate. God damn. Oh, yes, they did. Okay, so here's the fun part. So, photographer has a house in Delaware. I was like, no, you don't.
No way.
I was like, no, you don't. I was like,
let's go party at it.
So it gets better. So he's got a house in Delaware, and I was like, and I was like, it's a running joke between me and the people I work with, and me and my friends, and has been for a long ass time, that Delaware is not a real fucking place. I think it's a mythical place that's just like really signed well. And he was like, no, it's like the first state. And I was like, all right, fucker, don't get wise with me. Like, I'm grown. Let's be adults here. Let's talk about this like men. And then he shows me his fucking license. I was like, where'd you get that printed, son? He's like, wow, you'll really fucking hold on to this as long as you can, huh? And so then he goes, what do you want, tax records? I was like, that would be nice, because at least then I know they're filed in the state that you tell me exists. So, because, like, he was showing me pictures, I was like, that could be anywhere. For all I know, that's, like, 5 shades away from the moon. I was like, you could be anywhere. I was like, Photoshop is an amazing thing, isn't it? And he was
this poor photographer.
Dude, he loved it. He didn't even, he was cracking up. He thought it was fucking hilarious. And I was like, it's not even, that's the tip of the iceberg, friend. I was like, listen to the episode. So, yes. But I will say, after seeing the license... I believe in you,
photography guy. I believe in you.
Yeah, okay, so you've got me there, because the license was, like, really convincing. The hologram, you know, like, I know shit's come a long way, but I don't even know how to do the hologram.
I mean, I love that you're questioning it to that point, though. That's fucking what I love about it. You're like, well, I examined the license forensically.
You
Yeah. And I was like, you know how you can prove this to me? If you took me there. I was like, until I've actually stepped my pretty little heels into this, place thing, I don't know that it exists, and I need to have solid ground underneath my feet to know that it is there. So he was like, well, that's a tall order. I was like, I wasn't actually offering. I'm just telling you that's what it would probably take for me to believe you. So yeah. So I want to say that on his behalf, Delaware sounds like it might exist. Thank you, photographer who wants to instill that belief in me and who has a very nice place there. He showed me pictures of it. It looks like lovely.
If you decide to bite the bullet and go to Delaware just to see for yourself, we have to record an episode while you're there.
I'll be like, Delaware, the sequel. Be like, I'm reporting from this fucking library because it's the quiet place I shouldn't be. You know, our library has sound booths.
Oh, cool.
What the fuck? This is cool. Palm Beach, what up? So I have a Cuss Florida for you.
Is it the mass shooting?
No. That's very sad. We should talk about that a little bit.
Okay, I'm a gamer, right? Mm-hmm. And when I say I'm a gamer, I say it begrudgingly because I play video games. Yeah, I play video games. I'll say that because gamers are not people that play video games anymore. I cannot imagine a situation where I'm going to attorney and I feel the need to even have a gun anywhere near me. Like, anywhere near me. Like, I would not think I'm going to attorney, I should make sure and pack my fucking gun. Even when I was living in the States, that would not have crossed my mind at all.
It's, I was going to ask, exactly, you don't really... So do you think it was premeditated, or do you think that he just snapped and he was carrying?
I think that he already was fucked up in the head.
Do you think he planned it?
I don't know if he planned it or not, but I mean, he brought a gun to a game tourney. Why would anyone do that?
Yeah.
Why would anyone do that?
It's like the guy that brings it to a chess fucking meeting. It's like, why would you do that? It doesn't have a place there.
Dude, if somebody got shot over chess, my God. Like,
Queen to King 5. Queen, what is it, like? King to 4 7. I don't know how the fuck. I obviously haven't played chess in like a decade.
Even when I played chess, I didn't know the things. I just played it. I knew how the pieces were supposed to move, and I moved them that way.
That's
I
usually, from anybody experienced, I would lose.
Well, secondly, the game that he was playing, Madden, yeah, okay, it's a popular game, but it's not typically the type of game. You don't tend to see people get that obsessive about the sports games, especially EA. Fucking hell, who still plays EA games anymore? Honestly,
you're like, you're getting heated over the Packers from the 90s.
Dude, I mean, who are these people that are still giving money to EA? Stop. Just stop it. They're
nobody now, literally not after this.
Fucking I mean, seriously, when I found out, I was like, I mean, obviously, the first thing I do is make a joke about it. And I was like, oh, let me guess, they were playing Mario Kart.
God damn.
I had my mom looked it up because I was on the phone with her, and I was like, what game were they playing? Because I had to know, And it was fucking Madden?
Go fuck yourself, Tuffy!
You killed people over Madden? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Call of Duty, I'd be like, duh.
Yeah, I mean, that 12-year-old was clearly unhinged. But
he was already fucked up before he got there. He didn't get his lunch money. It's a rough day.
Yeah, which is, I think, this is the case here. Whether he planned it or not, he's clearly unhinged enough to where if it didn't happen here, it was going to happen somewhere.
Okay, so your point being that if it didn't happen at the tournament, he would have done it at the cafeteria later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is somebody
what was the
that
final count on injuries. I know one guy, nobody was dead, right?
I don't know. The last I heard, it was like 4 people died and 11 people were injured.
Holy
but
shit.
Let me Google it because I'm not sure. Okay. I'm not sure on that. I could have been talking about a different shooting that number came from. So let me just. Yes. I
love your fucking emoji phone. Oh, it was your
this is-
daughter's, right? I forgot.
It was that. This is Alexander.
Your eyes are so blue today. You have the bluest.
I've got natural lighting.
But no, like, you have the bluest of eyes.
They change colors sometimes.
That's hot.
Like if I'm in a really emotional place, like it seems like if I'm about to fight or fuck, they get like this sort of dark gray color. They go.
Mine turn green when I'm horny.
Do they honestly?
Yeah, they do. And if I'm really angry, I don't know what it is. But they're hazel. I always told people they were brown, and I was corrected by my eye doctor. He's like, no, they're hazel. He's like, they're too green in other colors to be brown. And that's also makes it possible to change colors, I guess.
Because mine are hazel. They've actually stayed blue longer over the past few years than they did when I was younger. I am still looking for. I'm not seeing an injury count so far.
I'm gonna look.
So, yeah, you can give it a try.
It was in Jacksonville, right?
I think, yeah. So 2 have been killed, but I don't know the
Okay.
injury count.
I thought that was injuries, not killed.
But like the quote from the quotes,
two killed. Go on.
from the quotes I've seen, he's won Madden tourneys before, and I'm one of the better players, blah blah blah. So his entire fucking ego is wrapped up in a game, and that's where the problem lies. Like, so many fucking. I'm going to have to use the term gamers because it's just easier. But so many gamers that get to this obsessive level, their entire lives are revolving around this
Tiny
these games.
space. Yeah, it's a tiny space.
Yeah.
They live through a screen. It's true. And they become almost militant about living through that life.
Absolutely.
To answer your question, not to cut you off, it's 9 people suffered gunshot wounds. And 2 died.
Okay. Right.
It
So
was-
11 was the total.
I
Okay.
saw the online stream. Oh my god, just hearing.
They streamed it?
There's a stream where someone's like playing and you can hear the gunshots in the background start. And at first it sounds like a balloon popping, the first one. And then
Yeah.
the following ones you can tell are gunshots. And then the screen goes off. It says controller disconnected, and then that was one of the guys. It was the black gentleman. I think it was his screen that was the one they've used online.
Yeah.
And this was David Katz. He's a 24-year-old gamer from Baltimore, Maryland. They still don't know.
White,
the motive.
probably a virgin, probably an incel.
Probably an incel. Probably
He lost.
an incel.
That was $20 says that's the motive. He lost.
Yeah,
He got his
it's like,
fucking ass handed to him.
It's like, yeah, he just. That's so
All right.
sad.
Now for the politically incorrect portion of Daddy Issues. Lily Bongwater has some shit to say.
Okay.
Right. If your whole fucking life is so wrapped up in a game or in being a virgin or in any of these
Being
fucking
a virgin. If you're
That's
obsessed with
incel.
being not fucked.
incels,
Yeah.
they're obsessed with being not fucked. If you're fucking
Them and
entire
men going their
life-
own way.
Oh God! But yet they only talk about women.
Right. Anyway, go on.
But if you are in a place where you have become so obsessed and so wrapped up to where your entire life revolves around this one fucking thing, and you feel like you just absolutely couldn't go on without that one thing in your life, that one video game, that one fucking incel chat room board, whatever, be a hero and off yourself. You're wasting resources that decent, normal people could be using, and no one fucking needs you here. Just, you don't need to kill a bunch of other people because you suck at video games. Just kill yourself.
This is a brief
Just go ahead, do
PSA
it.
from Daddy Issues to say this is not assisted suicide and we are all for life. Back to our normally scheduled rant from Lily. No, okay, I agree. I can't agree, but I do see what you're saying. It's like, okay, I'll give you an example.
If you're going to kill yourself anyway, because they always do. After
They
these mass
always
shootings,
do
they
because they
always
don't want
kill
to deal
themselves.
with it. They don't want to deal
They
with
don't want to go to
fallout.
jail. Yeah. So if you're going to kill yourself anyway, then why bother taking people with you? Just fucking kill yourself. Just do it ahead of time. Like, do that one first.
Kill yourself.
Just do that first, because you're clearly suicidal anyway. So why fucking have yourself, because you're not going out in a hail of bullets like Mickey and Mallory Knox and Natural Born Killers. You're not fucking,
That was a great reference. Golf
You're not fucking standing off with the police in the name of some. No, you're not. You're not remembered for that
No.
at all.
In
At
fact,
all.
this
You're
guy's going to be irrelevant soon. It's like, you're already dead. There's nothing else to do. There's not the following case. It's over.
Yeah.
You're not
yeah,
going to get the
like-
notoriety you're dreaming of. And they do sometimes fantasize about, like, how people will remember them.
Yeah, but the thing is that there's so many mass shootings now that no one remembers them. Because
Exactly.
I don't know this guy's name. I don't know the name of the guy in Las Vegas. I don't know the
I
name of the
literally
guy.
just read his fucking name and already forgot it.
Yeah. That fame shit. I mean,
Not a thing.
it's not going to happen. I'm sorry.
I'm
Mass
working
shooters
towards fame,
are a
fuckers,
dime-
and I still can't do it.
Mass shooters are a dime a fucking dozen these days. And we don't remember your names. None of us do.
Yeah.
So-
And, for those of us that are, responsible gun owners, you're making us fucking look bad and reckless. It's like, I don't think there is a world where we can't have guns and people and it be okay. I mean, sometimes... No, I'm not saying it can't be done without it. I'm just saying there is a world in which we can have both and it not be a fucking shitstorm. Other countries have done it. We're shit at it. We are shit at it. And you know what Australia said? They were like, we're taking them fucking things back. You guys don't know what you're doing with this. And guess what? Suicide dropped, murder dropped, muggings dropped. Fucking Jim
Surprise,
Jeffries says it
surprise.
right. He's like, they took our guns and we're happy. He's like, and guess what? We're alive.
Yeah.
And now let me tell you about guns here in the city. I had a meeting in the city, and here's a reality check. So we've briefly and often talked about political change, and I feel like you can definitely weigh in on that. Not only do you have, not only are you an American, but, were you an American, but you are also, you have family there still, so you have a direct connection and investment in all of this. Aside from the ripple effect it has through the world, which it does. So
Yeah, but I worry for my friends and family that are over there.
of course,
I mean,
because how can't you look outside? Just look outside.
yeah.
So this is a reality check for all of you that think that shit isn't that bad and you're living your white ass lives. Like, I'm about to get real with you because I had a reality check. I am a presentable white woman. I was born in America, never done anything wrong, never been arrested, got close that one time. But I've never legitimately been in trouble for fucking anything ever. I'm a good person who doesn't fuck up. And I had to stroll on by Trump Tower, and my mom had made a request because she's a fan. And I reluctantly was like, all right, well, fuck, I'm here. So I walk up, and I'm talking paramilitary, loaded down, and I couldn't enter the building. Now, people are stopping and listening to this, and they're like, I go into Trump Tower all the time. I'll bet you fucking do. Now, here's how you get into Trump Tower. By turning over all of yourself. The whole shit. your belongings. They have to wand you. You get scanned.
Like going into court.
Yes. Dude, this is a hotel.
Yeah,
this is a
there.
like there's offices, like people stay there. He's got a 3-story deal in the place. And so now this is what someone said to me. Well, that's where he lives. Whose fucking fault is that? And by the way, he's not living there right now, but I understand that him and his family frequent there and all that. It's like, why are we pouring money into a monument to a man who is shitty? He's a shitty guy. Like, okay, now there's something to be said, and I know you're going to be upset with me for saying this, but as a business owner, I identify with the fact that he's survived this long. I only identify with it in as much as I know you did dirty ass shit to get there. And for anybody,
well,
who
let's not
thinks-
forget mommy and daddy's money.
with a small loan of $1 million, let me tell you what I can turn out.
I know, right?
And, it's not like he played it clean. And people are like, well, the media has been trying to dig on him and they never find anything. I'm laughing. It's like, do not
They
be...
find shit all the time.
Exactly. And then it's silenced. It's like, guys, come on. You're not that naive, are you? I mean, I know you're a Trump supporter still, just like in silence now.
No, they don't though. They're so it is cult-like.
Okay,
it
so
is
it gets
very
worse.
cult-like.
So I'm in a cab, right? Nice gentleman picks me up. He asks me why I'm going to Trump Tower. First thing he asked me, why? Not, are you going to? Why?
Yeah.
And I said, well, I have a meeting to go to, and I'm having lunch at Trump Tower. And he goes, okay, I'm going to have to drop you off like a block and a half shy. And I was like, okay. Like in an understanding tone, because I could tell, not that there is a way to identify someone in, okay. He's Muslim, and I knew that he was. I'm going to just say it like that. I could tell, and without asking. I didn't have to pry. And he says to me, to confirm it, he basically says, I'm Muslim. And he's like, I just can't. And I said, is it really that bad? And he says, you know what? I'm a grown man. I have 2 daughters. And he's like, and I hate saying this, but it has become that bad. He was like, it's gotten to the point where if someone identifies me as a Muslim, he was like, they will throw things at my car. He was like, I've had to replace my windshield twice this year. He was like, I've had, my taillights were broken. And he was like, and this is in broad daylight in front of the tower. Mind you, the paramilitary is standing right there. Not intervening. And the police are right there, which, by the way, I have nothing against New York police whatsoever. They have seen me in some tough situations, and I nod to them every single time. They are good people. But it's almost like that's not the regular people. It's like his people. I don't know if that's the case, but it is like that.
It's a private security force.
So, they were like asking me all of this shit. What is your business here? I was like, I'm having lunch inside. Like, it's on the door. It says, there's like Trump's ice cream parlor. Like, it seems shiny and nice. And then you get closer and it's like Trump. It's shit. And you're like, I can smell it coming through the fucking double doors.
Dude, I wouldn't eat there if you paid me. He cuts mad corners. That food is not up to fucking health standards.
It wasn't.
There's no way.
And it was like I said, I was humoring my mother. It was very rare this woman asks for anything. She's kind of like me that way. So I tend to even if we're not on good terms, I'm generally like, maybe I will, But in this case, I called her literally watching somebody get arrested from across the street, because I'd crossed the street and I was like, this is some ho shit. I don't want to go in there. And I'm not even a criminal. Like, I have no negative intentions whatsoever. I mean, I have voted for him, but I didn't vote for Hillary either. So it's like, but it's like, I didn't come there with beef, and I was still feeling like I was doing something wrong just by being there. It was really awkward. It was really, really uncomfortable. And my mom was like, well, don't worry about it or whatever. And she was like, at least you tried. And I was like, how I addressed it to her, though? I was like, your dark lord won't let me in the fucking dark tower. I was like, not today. Not today.
I can't with Trump supporters. Seriously. Like, the minute I found out someone's a Trump supporter, I immediately cut them out of my life.
Okay, so
immediately.
I was talking, this is true. I was talking to this guy, and this was a while back, but we got to talking, and this was when I guess when Trump was like first running. It was around then, right? And he didn't lead. He was like, I'm a patriot. Like, I love America. all this
red
other
flag.
shit.
Red
Dude,
flag.
you can't spell.
Red fucking flag. Right. Here are my red flags when talking to someone. Patriot, free speech, I just love America. Like any of those phrases. No.
Yeah.
No, because you're not a patriot. You're a nationalist fucking psychopath. That is okay with the shit that this fucking other psychopath is doing. So immediately, no, which is sad because free speech should not have that connotation at all. It should not have that connotation. But the only people that are like, rah, free speech are fucking Nazis these days.
Yeah.
They're the only ones that are like, I should be able to come out and fucking wave my Nazi flag and
Hold
be
my
a complete
torch.
piece of shit. Yeah. And what pisses me off is they don't even know what free speech means. That just means the government isn't going to arrest them for having these beliefs.
There was
that doesn't
blame
mean
on both sides. Who fucking says that?
actually we
it's
had a whole
true.
war about this.
Yeah, it's like, even if it's true, who fucking runs the country and says that? And then everybody, this is the fucking Trump response from any Trump supporter. Well, he's not a politician. He's a businessman. I was like, right. So in that vein, let me jump on that fucking train with you really quick.
Right? He's gone bankrupt 6 times, bitch.
Yeah, and Trump University is a fucking joke. You don't even want to fucking... You don't want paper from Trump University because it doesn't mean anything to any other university, fuckers. Because he couldn't pay all the other universities off.
If we had like a steady income from this show, I would put a portion of it aside to do an online distance learning course with Trump University live on the show. I absolutely would.
Would too. Nut job.
I'd be like, listen to this shit.
You never get bored about shit either, do you? You kind of get to a point in your life where you're like, I've given up fucks and I don't have them anymore.
Yep. I absolutely have. I give a fuck to an extent. You know what? This is a good way to address how many fucks you give. Remember earlier when you said about how he got that small loan of $1 million, right? If somebody handed you $1 million today, what would you do?
Never see anyone again.
Right. Exactly.
Disappear and not be anybody's problem. Thank you. Bye.
We
actually, the Muslim and I, his name, I cannot remember, but it was actually a really nice name. I'll have to look that up. I'll snap it in.
Where was he from? New York. Was he from New York?
Yes, he's an American.
Yeah.
And he said, he was like, my daughter goes to NYU. Like, it's not like we're terrorists. He's like, well, we treat it like it. And he said it really got worse after this election. And he was like, please take no offense. And I told him, I was like, for what it's worth, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you live in a country that creates such fear in you right now that you can't drop me off where you're being paid to. Not because I could tell it was not. He was just trying to skip out. He really genuinely was like, I don't want another bill, Yeah. And I told him, I was like, it's a wretched thing that you had even to explain that to me in the first place. I said to him, I was like, I've been a victim. I've actually been kidnapped. Not a lot of people know that, but I was kidnapped as an adult person. And that level of terror when someone inflicts themselves on you and you have no way out, whether you're a victim inside of a car or not, it changes you as a person, and it makes you it changes the way you look at the world. And he was so genuine in the way, like I said to him, I was like, well, my apologies for the way things are socially right now. I do hope that it changes. I said, I feel that there is such a push right now from people in my generation and even younger that are like, this is shit. It needs to stop.
Yeah. I'm putting all my hope on the kids right now.
Yeah.
I'm putting all the hope.
It's all on the children.
On the generation. Yeah. The generation, the teenagers, I'm putting all my hope in them right now because they're the ones that are 16, 17, 18 right now are going to be the ones that fucking change shit. Yep. And if they don't, then we're all fucked.
Well, and
we're all beyond fucked.
That
and the baby boomers dying. Those fuckers need to die. And I hate to say that because I love people, just not them. These old white men. These old white
not
men,
them.
dude. These
Okay.
old white men that are running the world right now, they need to just die the fuck out already.
Yeah,
You know,
they've got a long calling card. I've noticed they're still using like dial-up internet, but they're judging us.
I bet their email address is like
AOL.com.
fucking, yeah, like Hotmail or some shit like that. AOL.
Oh, that's a millennial dig. I love it. I truly believe that within a relationship, like if you have different political beliefs, you need to not be political people. To, you know, like you need to, if you have your political beliefs, you better not cross swords at home kind of thing. Like I know I have a couple, they both work on opposite sides of the spectrum in this regard. And they live in a house divided. However, they've learned do not talk during election time, and that's just it. And they vote how they vote, and that's it. But
Yeah.
you know, we talk about like kind of like influence and boundaries. So in a relationship, things like political differences might be something that you can't just settle and go to bed and be on opposite sides of the fence. If you know that, you know, like I know a chick that I stopped being friends with her because she fell in love with a Nazi.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like I was like, who are you turning down? He's got a swastika on his chest.
Yeah.
Like, who didn't make
Fuck's
any-
sake.
Yeah, like, I mean, I know, and she was like, well, you know, that was when he was in prison. I was like, and?
That's beyond a red flag. That's like, you couldn't fucking
But she's
deny
like,
the
"But he
truth if it
cooks
was sitting on your
dinner,
face.
and he pays for the bills, and he can I'm like,
And fucking is this
when you
where
go to
is
bed
this how
at night,
low?
yes, that is how low a woman will stay.
That's the standard now. Oh, he cooks dinner.
She was
Oh, he
previously,
pays bills.
She was previously with somebody who was not at all in tune. And like, I'm sure she may hear this at some point.
Good. She needs to.
And-
look, woman, fucking
Woman.
just because your ex was a piece of shit does not mean that the best course of action is to be
Find
with
someone
another
who's
piece of
present.
shit.
Yeah.
Honestly,
In my view, she picked worse because yeah, he makes food, but it's like on the
He's
top
a Nazi.
subject, he's a Nazi, and he inherently believes. You know, when I told him, I was like, you know, you're not white, and he's like, no, I am, and I was like, no, you're not. I was like, you know how few people are actually deep down white. Oh, like
especially in America, get over yourself. None of
Nah.
us are like.
you ain't. And he was like, you know the land bridge you mentioned? He brought up the land bridge.
Oh God, they all love that fucking land bridge,
I don't know
they?
if that's like their like indoctrination process. Like while they're like, yes, we don't like these things, and we also believe in this land bridge. Like, you know, do not pass go.
I want to know how that makes them more white. How if it was a land bridge, because the location of the land bridge is up by some, it'll be like Mongolians and stuff going over that land bridge. It's not going to be fucking like the white Germans, is it?
It's not
You
Das
know?
people. It's not Das people.
Yeah. So why do you think this land bridge means that you're more? No.
I actually have a better question.
off.
I have a better question. Why does being white make anyone better? What the fuck?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. It's because to them, they have absolutely nothing else to be proud of.
Yeah.
They're such human garbage that they have nothing else to hold on to but the
connection
fact,
issues.
well, at least I'm white.
Yeah, and alienation and connection issues. So, you know, I hope if she ever hears this, I want to send her a specific message if she's still even listening and not just blowing up her computer. I truly loved you and your son, and I still care for you now. My separation from you had zero to do with you and everything to do with thinking that that was a horrible choice you were making. And as much as I wanted to be supportive in who you are, when you pursued a relationship and wanted to marry someone who ideally is just on the most base level gross. It's gross if you think that other people are beneath you because they're different from you. Okay, I'm not talking about rapist killer. I'm talking about you just look different. You just have a different faith. Okay? I'm not challenging him as a Nazi. I'm challenging the choices he makes. The way he talks about the things that he's done. And the pride in which he has. of what he's done. And the way he has that, like, that's not okay. And it wasn't okay for me to watch your kid grow up around it. That's a choice you made, and it's a choice you'll fucking regret, because I remember a time when you and I saw, when you were first dating this guy and this started materializing and you were like, that's going to be a problem. I know that's going to be a problem because I'm not actually racist. And now you're married to him. And you know, with all the happiness he could create in your heart, he's still inhuman to the other people we share the world with. And I know that, like, y'all fucking are probably just like, she's such an asshole, what a psychopathic, backstabbing cunt. And you can think all of those things, but at the end of it, I'm being honest with what everybody is thinking and the reason he can't take his shirt off at the pool. Because that was the thing.
I don't think anybody would think that you're a bad person for not wanting to be around a fucking Nazi.
Sorry. Not my crowd. Not my tribe.
The only good Nazi is a fucking dead Nazi, as far as I'm concerned. They deserve nothing. They don't deserve conversation. They don't deserve fucking empathy. Brick to the face. That's all they deserve. Because realistically, I'm a member of the LGBT community, and they want me dead.
Yep.
So fuck them.
Yep.
Fuck them in the fucking ass.
Yep.
And also, why is every fucking single one of them the most genetically
Altered.
deficient fucking people?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God. I think it shows. I think it says more about your character that you tried to remain friends with her for so long into it.
I did.
Than it does that you chose to, like, cut her out of your life. I think that says more about who you are as a person and how you try so hard to, like, just maybe this person will get it.
Right.
And then they don't get it, and you have to walk away.
Woman. She's real street savvy. She's a smart girl. And I know that inherently she is not racist. Her family is not racist. I've met them. You know, like, they're good people.
Yeah.
And I was floored that she, you know, this isn't one of those things that you look past. It's just not.
No, it's not.
I don't know.
It's not.
But if you
Absolutely
hear this
not.
and you're listening, that really is why I stopped calling, is why I took a step back. And you may have taken a step back for a very different reason and not taken that distance, or maybe taken that distance for something completely different. But I hope that you're well. I don't know how well you can be when you're going to sleep next to him. And I know that he's victimized you. Like, that shit bothers me. Like, to know that that's ever taken place before you were married, because shit goes downhill after. So
yeah,
I have concerns that I feel like I hope that you have a friend that is close that you can voice those concerns to, like you used to do me, because now I don't know who that is. I know that
she probably doesn't.
I know she had extended friends who have spoken to me who do not speak to her anymore for the same reason, actually.
Well, yeah, no, because that's how abuse works.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have been allowed to keep a lot of her friends, if any. I don't know how long this has been going on, but she might be completely cut off from her family and all of her friends at this point.
No, they're still in touch with the family. I know that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's
the
good.
other thing. It was really awkward for me because it's like, I'm close to her mother, but I didn't want to, like, unravel her business. And I hoped that her mother would just figure it out. It's like, eventually the dude's going to take off his shirt. They vacation together. So it's like, you're going to know. You know, just been the way he acts, too. Like, he literally, like, she says he carries himself in a way that isn't recognizable, that he believes what he does. And I'm like, no, it is. It is to me. And I'm white. So, and I wouldn't have known to look for it, per se. You know? But he's proud about it. But anyway, we're getting way off topic. Let's get into Strain of the Week, because I've been looking forward to this all week long.
Strain of the Week. Are we coming down off of our ranting hate?
I think we really, between that and politics, and, like, I almost left an upper decker in Trump Tower and then couldn't, you know, just the disappointment.
I was like, okay, listen, people out there, if you go to Trump Tower and actually get in the building, because I was bugging Shade to death about this, you got to take a shit in Trump Tower and tell us all about it. Just
Please.
upper decker the fuck out of it.
Please.
Anyway. Also,
Yes.
before I do Strain of the Week, I just want to tell you I'm in the planning processes of a new show.
Yay.
with my good friend Laura,
I
who's
spoke to
been
her
on this
this
show.
morning.
Hello.
Before you were so rudely interrupted.
All right.
I love how you're like balls deep. But what are you eating?
Cereal bar.
Nice. Nice. Hi,
Yeah,
Nug. Okay, so you have a new show, which I was talking to Laura this morning, and she's coming to New York, so I was super excited. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, she coming to New York in September. Another friend of mine in New York, actually, called Vanessa, who hosts the VD Clinic podcast and is a co-host on Devour the podcast. We were all three chatting, and we were talking about different. I can't remember what started the conversation, to be honest, but oh yes, I remember. One of the hosts of Devour the podcast and another one started arguing about politics and stuff. And she was like, and I was just sort of like, I'd throw in a little thing here and there, but it's not a political show, so I didn't want to like go full socialist on them. And I was like, I get that a lot. I have a lot of problems with that, with Daddy Issues and with Legion After Dark and stuff, because it's not a political show. So I have to really be mindful about like what I say and stuff. Right. And so we just decided we should make a political show.
Good.
Because there's a lot of stuff that comes up on the other shows that we do and that we'd like to say and that we'd like to talk about, but can't because we're not on, like none of the shows we do are sort of political shows.
Right.
So
that's exciting.
we are in the planning stages, but we haven't figured out a name yet. Like we know like things that we want to do episodes on. We know the format and we've figured out how we're going to sort out the editing and things like that, but cannot think of a name to save our lives. Right?
I can't wait to listen to it. This is the only political show I'll actually listen to.
Oh, thank you.
The only one. All right, so we'll stay tuned for like what it's going to be called, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, I'll keep you updated.
We'll have Laura back and to talk about it too.
Oh, definitely.
I love her.
Oh, and we should have Vanessa on too.
Okay.
I think you'd like. Vanessa is like, I don't know. She's just awesome.
Okay.
She's awesome.
You haven't introduced me to anybody I don't like yet.
I have a bit of a crush on Vanessa.
Oh.
I think that if we didn't live so far away, she might be the one. But
what the
she's not.
fuck?
She's not. She lives in New York, and I live in the UK. So.
So.
No playtime for us.
Yeah. Thanks, babe. Thanks. See, I'm the chopped liver around here nowadays. Not giving a single fuck about me.
You're already moving over. You're already going to come and live in our little commune when we get it started.
This is like a team sport on every level.
Yeah. You're going to have to be really nice to Pancake, though, even though he or she won't be a proper horse. When I get my miniature little horse to pull the cart.
I could do that.
You got to. I've already decided I'm going to name it Pancake.
I love that name. I didn't even correct you. It's the perfect name.
It's a perfect name for one of those tiny horses.
He needs a little baby horse carriage that's like literally like the size of a like a box with four sides. And you need to be able to like put your little groceries in there, and that's it. And then he'll be like, they have short little fat legs. They're adorable.
Oh my
God. When they rear up and when they kick out is hilarious. So you're just going to.
They rear up?
There's nothing that they do that isn't. Even when it's angry, it's adorable. So,
you're just like, oh, look at you. Are you mad? Here, have a carrot.
I have a banana. And I have a strain. And guess which one I'm going with? Strain first. Strain of the week.
Strain of the week this week is a East Coast classic. Well, I say it's an East Coast classic because I always came across it more on the East Coast than I did on the West Coast back when I lived in the States. But it's a strain you all know and love. We're going to be talking about Trainwreck.
Yes! I'm so excited because I actually know this one. Okay, go.
Trainwreck, 90% sativa, 10% indica. It's a great great daytime strain.
Almost squeeze this banana right out of the peel.
Yeah, it doesn't have that
Edgy. It doesn't get you
wired
edgy.
feeling.
Yeah, you don't get the no, you don't get that. You're
At
just
all.
really fucking happy.
Yeah, it is definitely. It's got mood elevating effects. It's a giggly strain. It's a good one for when you're going to watch a silly ass movie.
I did that. I did exactly that. It was my best fucking
What
night
movie?
ever.
What movie did you watch?
It was like a Sacha Baron. It was a show. It was a Sacha Baron Cohen show on Showtime that just started, and he had people that were like definitely Trump supporters that were like pretending to be liberals, asking about girl episodes.
Wow.
I was like, episodes of girls? Oh my god, you've got my attention. And then they were like, this is how you communicate with a liberal. They were like asking about each other's clothes, and then they were like, how do you like that episode of Girls? Actually, season 2, episode 3 is personally my favorite. And then they start talking about Hannah and Laird, and I was like, dead. I'm fucking dead. This is making my life. So I was giggly as shit. So this is so true, and this is the only strain that doesn't make me giggly and edgy, so.
Yeah, it is really good for that. And you get, again, it's only 10%. Yeah. And again, it's only 10% indica, but
Keeps
that
you down.
10% makes a difference. I mean, you get the sort of body high that you get with an indica, but you get the cerebral high of a sativa. It's fantastic. The taste is good. It's got kind of an almost peppery kind of taste.
Yeah, okay, I noticed that, and I was going to ask you, I was like, what is there, nutmeg in there? Like, how the fuck did they manage that?
I don't know, but what I found interesting is the history of the name.
Okay.
Right? It is called Trainwreck because, all right, the strain was originally parented by a combination of Afghani, Mexican, and Thai. And what happened was there was a massive train wreck. Yeah, in California back in the 70s, those two brothers came up with it. And there was a train wreck near the land, so they had to pull their crop early because it happened near their grow site, and they didn't want it. They didn't want it to get busted, so they had to pull their crop early, and that's how train wreck got its name, which I thought was great.
Holy balls. That just blew my mind.
Oh, yeah. This is fantastic. I mean, and for those indoor growers that may listen to us, one single plant can yield up to 500 grams in a square meter of space.
Holy shit.
That is hydroponically grown, but when grown in soil outside, if you're an outdoor grower, they're ready for harvesting in early October, but the outdoor ones can yield up to 700 grams. So between
That's
8
a
to
legit
10 weeks.
tree.
Yeah.
It's an actual fucking tree.
I wonder if because they had to pull their crop early, the original growers, that it's been a continuous thing to pull the crop early on Trainwreck. I'm really curious about that.
Ooh, write in if you know.
Yeah, if you know, definitely write in. Do you grow Trainwreck? If you do you pull your crop a bit early?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Harvest a bit earlier.
I'm curious.
Oh, it is 2 thumbs up. Highly recommend this strain to everybody. It is good for PTSD. It's good for stress because of that 10% indica in there. It doesn't cause the sort of panicky feelings that you get with anxiety disorders from other sativas. Actually, it's also really good for pain management.
Oh, I actually, now that you mention it, I wasn't in pain when I didn't realize it, but yeah, now that you mention it, I wasn't in pain.
It is fantastic, for pain management, and it's fairly decent for nausea, anxiety, depression. It's good for all of those. So really, Trainwreck is kind of a fantastic all-around strain. Like if you can only afford to get one strain, which is the case for me most of the time, and Trainwreck is there, you really. It's a good buy. It's a good buy. Go for it. Get that Trainwreck.
And if you have tried it and want to weigh in on it, you can at 407-984-6919. You can leave us a message, which I encourage you guys to do. And in the
Speaking of messages,
yes,
didn't we get a voicemail finally? Should I-
Hi, Shade and Lily. This is Issa calling from London. Love you.
I can't hear
show.
it. Damn.
You guys are doing great stuff. Really opening my eyes to a lot of issues that you guys talk about. I don't really hear them. The stuff you guys talk about, I don't hear in any other podcasts. So, of course, I'm subscribed. You know, loving the stuff you lot are doing. Well, here's my situation. I'm married. I've been married 10 years. We're still quite young. And I want advice from you guys on if I want to introduce BDSM into my marriage, okay? So just to start it off very, lightly, how would I do that? I know that it's a very vague question, but you
I'm
guys
so
are two
curious.
great women. So, maybe you can kind of give me the woman's perspective on how you would like something like that to be introduced to you. And I can take some points from that with my partner. So, yeah, guys, that'll be great to hear your thoughts on that. Keep doing what you're doing. This is Issa from London. You guys take care. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Okay, so he had an amazing question. So this is Issa from London, and he called and left a message. He actually had me on his show to talk about BDSM, and he asked us a question about how, from a woman's perspective, how would you go about introducing, because he's interested in introducing BDSM into his marriage. He's happily married. But he wasn't sure of how he would go about that. Like, he's like, it's kind of a vague question. He's like, but how would I go about that without perhaps scaring her off, that sort of thing, or exposing her to it?
First of all, thank you for popping our cherry. Yay! Thank you,
That never
for popping our
happens.
cherry. I'm so excited to get our first voicemail.
Go us.
It is. Thank you for calling in, and that's such a touchy thing, and you know your partner best. But the best thing to do, really, is to just have a conversation about it. Say, listen, I was thinking about, introducing a bit of kink into our relationship and see how they feel about it and see if there's anything that interests them. Like, would she be more likely to want to just be tied up as first? Would she want, because with a lot of vanilla people, it's all about starting quite slowly and bringing them up to, because obviously your first session, you're not going to,
pull out
just
the whips and
put them on the rack and
and then call it a day.
Yeah.
Like, get in the cage.
Yeah. So it's a matter of, finding what she would be interested in, what she thinks would be enjoyable to her. And there are websites that you can Google. Actually, we'll put one in the show notes, where you and your partner can both take a massive, it's like a checklist. And next to each thing, let's say, and it's got everything on it.
Yeah.
It's got everything on it, from electroplay to anal
and
to
just kind of line them up
bondage.
after and figure out what they...
Well, no, it's already designed for that. You just put, you tick whether you are interested in trying it, if you have done it, if you're not interested in trying it at all, or if you're curious about it, and you rank each thing on the thing. And then you can just compare both of your results and see, okay, well, you're not into this, so we won't go there, but this is something you're interested in. And it gives you a good sort of, what's the word I'm trying to think of, Shade?
It gives you you a baseline
framework.
Yeah, it gives you a baseline to work off of, something where you can start a dialogue that's comfortable for both of you.
So, thank you. Exactly. And that way you can both look and see who's got the green ticks on which thing, which things match up.
You don't have to actually ask, hey, are you into A, B, C, D? You'll know because you're looking at it. They don't have to actually verbally say it if they're not comfortable yet. And then...
Yeah, which makes it a lot easier for some people that feel a bit, oh, I don't know if I can say those words out loud kind of thing.
Exactly.
But yeah, you can see you will probably have plenty of things that match up that you can start with. And then once you have that foundation built, then you can just expand on it as you want to. Also, a lot of books to recommend in that. There is a pair of books. One's called The New Beginning Topping Book, and one's called The New Beginning Bottoming Book. And they're not very big. They're not like massive novels. One's for doms, one's for subs. And if you get those, you can both read it and see sort of how it is meant for people just starting to explore and just starting to learn what roles appeal to them, what things they might like to introduce, It's a good, gentle way to start off, but the conversation has to happen first, and it needs to be a gentle conversation. You need to approach it like, I'm not saying that I will not be happy if you don't do this. I'm saying that I'm curious about doing this with you. All right. Well, thank you for joining us on Daddy Issues, everyone.
We love you. Thank you, Issa, for writing in. We will see you guys soon.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on Daddy Issues, brought to you by the Dirty Minds of the Damaged Goods Network. Don't forget to tip the ladies at paypal.me/tiptheladies. Find more guilty pleasures and our dirty secrets at damagedgoodsinc.com. Click, play, obsess.